And we're back.
What
That
up,
was
what
an
up, what
awful
up?
way to start this, but
Guess what podcast it is, Owen?
week 2, season 2, what happened?
It is the What Happened podcast. I'm your host, Ryan. That's,
This is Owen.
yeah. I'm fully reclined in a bed right now. I'm cozy as fuck.
You didn't even make your bed. You're like, it's like
This is how I roll out in the morning.
you woke up at 1 today.
I worked a lot yesterday, okay? What do you
All right.
want from me?
Episode 2, season 2, year 2, even though we took a year off, so whatever.
If you don't know what this podcast is, Owen and I examined some of history's wackier events. Basically, it's that last podcast on the left, but it's not as good nor as popular.
But we're here.
But we are here.
And when you're here, you're family.
Dude, we need to get an Olive Garden sponsorship, like, for real.
I honestly, I really want artwork of Olive Garden. Like, not the stuff not like the cringy Italian artwork they have inside. Like, I want, like, a neon, when you're here, your family in my room.
I saw a custom neon shop the other day, but it was like $5,000.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Where was this?
I found an Instagram ad.
Yo,
for,
you got to find that link for me, man. I
So-
would 100% drop cash on that.
Please like, comment, subscribe, leave
And
a review so
also-
that we can
Yes.
afford
Yep.
a custom Olive Garden when you're here, your family.
Or
be
if you're
outside.
at Olive Garden, constantly talk to the manager about a podcast until...
until they sponsor us.
Oh, first idea, live stream from an Olive Garden. We get that nice corner family booth.
Dude, we're just like talking about history while eating some linguine. You know what I mean?
Dude, what could be better than that?
Eating the fettuccine, talking about like the fucking Mexican Revolution or something.
So, we already completely went off topic. That's a good idea, though. Write that down.
I will be sure to do that.
All right. So, I think I went first last week. So it's your turn to go first. We kind of went with a theme this week. I don't want to spoil my title idea, so I'm not going to say the theme.
We're doing
Via my
priests,
title.
right?
Yeah, priests, popes, Catholic shit.
Right on, dude.
Right on, man. Lead the charge.
Okay. So, you're Catholic, right?
Yeah.
You used to go to mass and whatnot.
Yeah.
Now,
It's
did
been
they
a
ever
while.
tell you about all the shit that they did back in the day?
They did a very good job at disguising it.
Yeah, because the Catholic Church has a pretty bad history of these things called Inquisitions.
Hashtag cover up.
And basically, the church at the time was the highest authority in the world, right?
I also have that reference in mind.
Like,
Yep.
every king had to be, like, ordained by the Catholic Church.
Dude, that's literally one of my bullet points.
So, even, like, the church was higher than any king,
Yeah,
basically.
the Pope was like the emperor of Europe, essentially.
Pretty much, yeah. And so they could launch what was called an Inquisition to investigate whoever thought was committing heresy,
All right.
basically. So Inquisitions happen like all the time, various people groups, like all over the world, pretty much.
Question for you, and I doubt you know the answer. Do you know when the last Inquisition was? Like, was there one in, like, 1890 that we just don't know about? Or, like, was this, like, always a medieval thing?
That's a great question. I have no idea.
Yo, let's bring that back.
So, they like the laws about Inquisitions changed over time, but they basically like persecuted pretty much everybody,
Yeah.
right? The most famous Inquisition is obviously the Spanish Inquisition,
Spanish Inquisition?
because nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Because nobody what?
Expects the Spanish Inquisition?
What do you mean no one expects it?
That's a great reference.
From what movie are we quoting here right now?
It's not from a movie; it's from a TV show. Monty Python, Flying Circus.
I'm more of the bishop kind of guy, but
Okay. So, Spanish Inquisition, it was established in 1478.
all right.
And I don't know if you knew this. It went on for 300 years.
So it went on till the 1700s?
It went on to 1834.
Jesus, I was kind of close. I said 1890.
Yeah.
So, Jesus, okay. What the fuck?
So the Spanish Inquisition was established because at the time it was thought that there was what was called a crypto-Judaism going on in Spain.
All right. We got cryptocurrency. They got crypto-Judaism.
Crypto-Jews. Basically, that's just like a weird Catholic name for like a secret underground Jewish church.
Okay.
And so the church granted authority to several priests to investigate as they saw fit. By that, they mean that the church just sort of rolled in with like an army and
It's
just
like, hey, what's up, motherfuckers?
they go like, hey, are you a Jew? And if you say no, then they're like, all right, we're going to find out if you're really a Jew. And then they torture you until you say that you're a Jew.
Yep, and then you're executed, most likely.
So the Christians, or the church only had like authority over Christians.
Okay.
Right? They weren't like, if you were like, hey, boom, don't worry, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
They're gonna leave you alone.
Wouldn't they go up to like someone and be like, hey, your neighbor's Jewish, right? And they're like, no, they're not. And they're like, are you Jewish? I'm like, yeah, no, my neighbor's Jewish.
Well, so like, basically the way it works is like, if you were Jewish or any other like religion,
Muslims were big in Spain as well.
Yeah.
Like half of Spain was like Muslim, but yeah.
But because like you didn't like subscribe to the Catholic laws,
The magazine.
they couldn't like enforce their power over you, is how they saw it.
Okay.
So who they were going after were Christians
that they deemed were
who-
doing weird shit.
Yeah, they were like, yo, these Christians, are they doing Jew shit? And so they basically would go up to people and be like, hey, you're Christian, right? And they'd be like, yeah. And they'd be like, you sure you're not like eating matzah or whatever? And so then they'd torture you and probably kill you, and they'd get you to like rat on anybody else.
Yeah, exactly. And it just kept going. Yeah.
So they're going after this crypto Judaism, which is all the Christians secretly practicing Jewish practices, i.e. matzah. And all in all, Owen, around 32,000 people were killed
Jesus Christ.
by the Catholic Church during the 300 years of the Spanish Inquisition.
Why do we never talk about this shit in history class in like high school? Like, it's never about that stuff. It's always about like, yeah, there were a crusade. There were 3. I don't know. Stuff happened. Not like, yeah, a lot of people were just massacred by the church who were also Christians. Like,
I don't know, man.
it's fucking wild.
Turns out the church and the state aren't as separated as you would think.
I mean, they're obviously not mentioning that in CCD, but like...
Yeah. So we're not talking about that, though. That's not what we're talking about.
All
We're
right.
not talking about the Spanish Inquisition. I did like 10 minutes of skimming to find that little bit on the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah.
It is such a long Wikipedia page.
I mean, there's a lot. We could touch on that another time if you'd like, but
Yeah, let us know if you want us to talk about the Spanish Inquisition.
you did not seem enthusiastic, but let's keep going.
Okay. So what we're talking about is we're talking about Pope Gregory the Ninth's Inquisition,
Okay.
which he actually had a lot of them.
Good for him. He was a busy guy.
Yeah, so Pope Gregory the Ninth held papacy from 1227 to 1241.
Okay.
One of Gregory's first acts was to expand the power of the Inquisition to Conrad von Marburg in order to investigate heresy throughout Germany. In 1232, Greg, I call him Greg because he's not like a nice guy. In 1232, Greg started the crusade against the Stedinger. The Stedinger were a bunch of like poor peasants and farmers in Germany.
Well, obviously they would need a crusade.
Well, they rebelled against local authorities over taxation and property rights, and
Are they fucking Americans.
they eventually like beat the local authorities.
Okay.
And then the church was like, "No, you guys are heretics."
Jesus Christ.
So, Gregory sent a crusade to put down the rebellion in Germany.
Okay.
It was like a whole thing. Like
Seems
the
fucking
Stedinger
excessive.
actually beat the first Catholic army, and then they came back with a second army, and then they all got killed. So yeah, not a great time to be a German. Greg also
There were
endorsed.
many times that wasn't great to be a German.
Yeah, that's true.
I didn't want to say that, but
Yeah, like a lot of them. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Keep it going.
Greg also endorsed what's called the Northern Crusades, where the church went to war with a bunch of pagans in the Balkans, Finnic, and West Slavic people.
Okay. So basically just fuck everyone in like northern Russia and Scandinavia ish.
Yeah, pretty much. So our boy Greg loves a
fuck
good crusade.
Latvia.
fucking Moldova. Yeah, so our boy Greg loves a good crusade. Now, remember how I said that Greg expanded the powers of the Inquisition to Conrad von Marburg?
Yes.
Okay. So Conrad had been involved in Inquisitions and Crusades all over Europe.
Nice.
And
it's a good career.
You know, he some of the ones he did, he helped with the Albigensian Crusade. I don't know if that's correct.
Where was that? Who knows?
Albigensian?
Yeah.
I think it's in Albigensian.
Okay.
He also helped root out heresy in Thuringia and Hesse. And I don't.
You look very confused.
I don't know where
words.
Thuringia is or Hesse. So Conrad had a reputation for being extremely unjust, and pretty much believed nearly any accusation that was brought to him.
Yeah, of course.
So you could just be like, "Yo, Conrad, I heard this boy is like, he didn't do all the Hail Marys yesterday," and they'd be like, "What?" So Conrad often burdened people at the stake and encouraged those that were accused to rat on everybody else.
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep the snowball going.
Yeah. So, but I mean, even after all that, Conrad was regarded very highly in the Catholic Church, and he worked closely with Gregory the Ninth.
This is just fucking wild. Sorry, but like, murder is a sin unless the Pope's like, no, go ahead.
Unless it's a dude in a wizard costume.
Yeah.
Unless you're, the KKK, but who also has wizard costumes.
But
a lot of wizard costumes going around.
Oh, weird shit. Anyways.
Yeah, so where was I? Yeah, one day, our boy Conrad comes up to Greg. I'm going to call him Connie. Is that okay?
Sure.
So Connie and Greg.
I'm not offended.
Yeah, so one day Conrad comes up to Gregory the Ninth with irrefutable evidence that Luciferianism is on the rise in Europe.
Okay.
Conrad claimed that through torture, he had uncovered a satanic cult operating through Europe that worshipped the symbol of a demonic man and a black cat.
Dude, torture just makes no fucking sense to me. Like, if someone was, like, squishing my ball sack or something, I would say anything.
Yeah, I guess I did that thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's been, like, proven, like, a lot to, like, give false confessions.
Yes. Because I want them to fucking stop. Yeah.
Even, like, not even, like, torture. Like, even, like, there was, like, some study where, like, you, like, go up to... There was, like, some study group where they're like, hey, take this, like, test or whatever. And then they, like, leave you alone in a room. And then they, like, come back in. And then they say, oh, why'd you cheat on this test? And they're like, what? And they're like, yeah, you cheated. And, like, 9 times out of 10, people will be like, yeah, I guess I did.
Even though they didn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Great fucking story.
Fuck you.
You basically mean any sense of authority directing at you, you're going to go with what the authority says.
Yeah, pretty much.
Gotcha.
So...
Black cats, wizards.
Yeah, black cats, wizards, demons. Conrad claimed that there was a particular ritual to get into this cult. Oh, somebody's here. Paige, we're recording a podcast. Oh, never mind. Sorry, Paul. Remember last time when I was like, do we want to close the door in case Paul comes home? And you were like, no, I want him to see me doing a podcast.
Just
and then
stay quiet, see if he leaves.
Then the second he gets here, you close the door.
Or else he's just going to linger.
Yeah, I'll be like, what are those microphones for? A podcast. What's that?
Are those microphones?
Yeah. You're going to have to cut all that out.
And scene.
Do you want that?
Oh, thank you. All right, black cats, wizards, euphemisms.
Okay, yeah. So Conrad claimed that there was a particular ritual to get into this satanic cult that was spreading through Europe. How would you guess that you have to get into a cult?
I don't know. Do I look like a cult expert? I don't know. Just believe whatever that like weird fucking hippie guy has to say, and then like
well, it's like 70s cult.
Oh, I was gonna say that he takes your virginity, tells you you're worthless, and then you sell all your assets to him,
and then you have to like poison a bunch of Halloween candy or something. Yeah. No, so
like kill a goat or something back then.
To get into this satanic cult, Owen, you had to meet with all your Satanist buddies by a giant frog or toad.
What?
I don't know where you would find one of those, but...
Could have been plentiful.
Yeah, apparently. So then everyone would go around and they would kiss the frog on the mouth and the ass.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was all right with the mouth part.
So this would cause a thin, pale man with black eyes to appear. The newest recruit who would want to get into the cult would have to kiss that man on the mouth.
What the fuck?
And then in doing so, they would forget all love they had for the Catholic Church.
So this was what some random guy being hung upside down, almost sawed in half or whatever was saying.
He's hanging upside down from his nutsack with his guts getting ripped out. He's yeah, there's a toad. And,
I mean, dude, you'll say whatever the fuck you want to save yourself. So,
but then after the new guy kisses the thin pale man with the black eyes,
Slenderman kind of guy.
Everybody sits down and eats a meal together.
Oh, that's nice.
When the meal is finished, everyone stands back up, and a black cat descends from the sky backwards with its tail erect.
What do you mean backwards?
It's coming down ass first.
Oh, okay.
Then everyone goes around and kisses the cat's ass.
Ugh.
And boom, you're a Satanist.
All right.
So as wild and insane as that sounds, Greg believed him. And in 1231, Gregory IX passed what's called a papal bull, which is like a
You forgot the word shit.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
A papal bull is like a Catholic decree. And he passed the papal bull called Vox in Rama, which means the voice in Rama, or something that.
Yeah.
I don't know what Rama is. Ramadan? No, it's a Muslim thing.
Anyways, that's not Muslim. Isn't Ramadan
Yeah, isn't Ramadan the month-long thing where you have to fast or whatever?
I don't fucking know. Anyways.
What is Ramadan?
Here's what I found.
Just fucking read it.
According to Siri, Ramadan, also called Ramazan or Ramzan, Ramadan or Ramathan, is 9 months of the whole Islamic calendar observed by Muslims worldwide as a month of fasting, prayer, reflection, and community.
All right.
Wait, it's the 9th month. It's not 9 months long. It's 1 month long. They didn't do that though because they're Catholic. That's what we're talking about.
Okay.
How do we get here?
Just keep going.
Anyways, yeah. So Vox in Rama was a papal decree that denounced Luciferianism and authorized a crusade against it. Just generally throughout Europe, crusade against anyone that worshipped Lucifer. Right?
Seems just.
So the papal decree led to widespread persecutions.
Yep, sounds about right.
Of those thought to be Satanists.
Okay.
But because a cat was involved in the ritual, it also led to a crusade against cats. In Vox and Rama, in the decree,
it said also cats.
It said, it did say also cats, but it also said, Lucifer himself is half cat, and thus we have to kill all cats.
What the fuck? Okay. Black cats or just cats?
We'll get there.
No pussy was safe.
No pussy was safe. That is true. So Catholics around Europe were ordered by the church to kill cats on sight. But, Owen,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. They were just hey, you're not a Catholic unless you kill a cat when you see it.
Dude, fuck this. Dude, fucking Catholic Church, man.
But, Owen, I've always said that variety is the spice of life. So every place did a little bit different.
Oh, the way they killed the cat?
Yeah. For example, France would capture the cat, put it in a cage, and then throw the cage into a fire.
Wait, all right. Wait, real quick. Okay, first off, fuck that. Secondly, what year was this?
1231.
When did the plague start?
We'll get there.
I was going to say, because you kill all your cats.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Fucking idiots. No wonder why God was mad at them.
So, meanwhile, in Denmark, they just beat all the cats to death.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
While most people in Europe killed black cats,
Yep.
in England, black cats were actually thought to be lucky, and they killed all the white cats because they looked like ghosts. Apparently.
Okay.
So during this campaign, Conrad von Marburg kind of got into trouble because he accused Henry II, the Count of Seine, for taking part in satanic orgies.
Nice.
And while traveling, Conrad was assassinated, and it was believed that his death was ordered by Henry II.
Nice. That's
So,
what you
know,
get for accusing a guy.
Yeah, don't call out somebody who has, like, knights.
I thought there was more to that, but you meant like holy nights, not like thought you meant like daytime, nighttime.
No, don't accuse anybody who orders around a guy who carries a sword.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna say who has like nights of orgies or something, but
No, like Knights.
yeah, no, I got
Not
that.
Nights.
Yep. Continue.
So this crusade went on for about 100 years.
Jesus, that's a lot of cats.
There's no accurate number of how many cats were killed, though,
Yeah.
because I feel like
What asshole would be taking stats on that?
yeah, it just goes village to village. So what's your tally for this month?
Like I don't know. There's a bunch of cremated cats in a box over there. If you want to look.
But so it's believed that modern day Europe's low cat population,
There it is. Yep.
or low population of black cats specifically,
Okay.
is directly related to Gregory and Conrad's crusade.
Yeah, no shit.
It is also worth mentioning, Owen, that this crusade started in 1231
Yep.
and went on for 100 years.
Yep.
And the Black Plague started in 1246.
Jesus.
Or, 1346.
Okay, and it went to 41. You said.
It went to 12.
You said
Or it
12.
went to 1331.
31. Okay. All right. Either way, it's still a lot of cats dead
Yeah.
for a while, and then 10 years later.
And so it's not proven, but it's theorized
Yeah.
that the bubonic plague was so bad in Europe because they killed all the cats.
Yep.
Because for anybody that doesn't know, it was proven that fleas that were on rats spread the plague, and because there's so many rats everywhere, because there were no cats, that the bubonic plague was really bad.
And that's your history for the night.
And that's the story of how the Catholic Church went to war on cats.
Damn. All right, so circle to my Catholic Church story.
Right on, brother.
Okay, what are you, Hulk Hogan?
Sorry, Padre.
Oh, I get it, because father.
Also, my boss came up to you the other day, and I was wearing my pit vipers, and she was like, "What are you getting a cataract removed or something?" And then she was like, "All right, Macho Man Randy Savage," and I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah, that's what a macho man sounds like.
Hey, I didn't call myself Macho Man. Yeah, whatever.
All right, so to end your misery, let's go to my story. So I have a story of Pope Joan. Not sure if you know anything about Pope
John?
Joan.
Joan. Now,
not
correct me if I'm
John.
wrong, Owen, but Joan is a woman's name.
You are correct. She did actually go by Pope John, though. Also, John Goodman was in her movie in 2009, Pope Joan.
I love
We'll
John
circle
Goodman.
back to that. Anyways, the Vatican's official records state that all of the more than 260 Catholic popes have been male. But according to a medieval legend, which we'll talk about more, whether it's like actually fact or fiction, we'll get to it at the end. A lady pontiff, or aka pope, may have reigned for a brief period in the 9th century.
Interesting. That's the year 800 and on?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
Why is it like that?
the centuries.
Why is it always one ahead?
I don't know. Like 20th Century Fox should like change that to 21st Century Fox, right?
Oh, it's because year 0 through 99 is the first century.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. I'm glad I didn't answer your question and just talked about,
I love a good 20th Century Fox
yeah,
movie.
like that. Yeah, that.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, 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 dun,
So,
dun, 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 dun.
so it is 858 AD,
Dun, 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 dun,
CE,
dun.
whatever
I'm
you
done.
call it. He's going to provide background music. So it's an Easter procession, excuse me. So an Easter procession leaves St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. Pope John VIII was on horseback during said procession.
Okay.
It is reported that he began having severe pain and fell from his horse.
Okay.
People naturally being like, "Oh fuck," ran to the Pope to see what was going on, see if he got like an arrow to the chest or something, or if
And
he was
then I
just...
took an arrow to the knee.
Yeah, exactly. So once they got next to him, they realized that he wasn't in pain or injured. He was having contractions.
Like, giving birth?
Yeah, he was full on like head sticking out.
Okay. I'll speak on this later, but continue.
Okay, all right. So this Pope was called Pope John the VIII, or also Pope Joan.
Was this Immaculate Conception?
Yeah, there's actually Jesus. No, but we'll get to it. We'll get there. Like I said, I'll steal your stuff for today. We'll get there. So Pope Joan is a very hard person to research, and there's kind of two schools of thought behind why she's very hard to research. Either, like I said earlier, it's a legend and she just absolutely didn't exist, or the Catholic Church, being it's like, wicked, shady self, was hiding everything since like the 800s.
Oh yeah, they cover up a lot of stuff, even in
Yeah.
modern days.
Yeah, like we're from Boston, so like,
Oh boy.
shout out.
You ever see Spotlight?
Was that the movie on it?
That's a movie about all the Catholic priests in
Nah, I never
Boston
saw
that
it.
diddled children.
It was
and
too
then...
close to me. No, I'm just kidding. That never happened to me. But
It's okay. You can, if you want to share, you can.
actually, the priest from my the church I went to as a kid, like a year ago, got like put on permanent retirement because it came about that
That he diddled you.
yeah, well, not me personally. I might have seen it.
There's no shame, Owen. This is a safe space.
Either way, so it's hard to research Pope Joan, either because she was in fact a legend, or that the Catholic Church is hiding it.
Yeah.
Both very likely. We'll kind of get to it at the end, and we'll talk about it again. But so, like, kind of like what you just said, I have a little excerpt about like how powerful the Catholic Church was in medieval Europe. Like you said, like they were able to like help elect kings and queens, and like the Pope was so powerful that he'd be able to get like kings, queens, or monarchs to like do his own fucking dirty work for him, as you said, with a fucking Inquisition. So the Catholic Church was super powerful at this time, and a lot of monarchs actually required that the people would have to give 10% of their income to the Catholic Church around this time.
So not only are you paying tax to some king,
Yeah, you're paying
also
some
paying
fucking church
tax
that
to the
hates
church.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and will kill you if you look at a cat, apparently.
Also, did you know that like back in the day, like the reason that the Catholic Church like is still in Latin was because back in the day they like wanted to control the peasants. So like religion was
to learn Latin.
Yeah, like religion was so like powerful back then that they were like, well, we're gonna keep doing this shit in Latin because you guys only read English. So like we're the only ones that can control religion.
It's kind of fucked.
And he's on his phone now.
All right, so per the Catholic Church, only men are ordained as priests, and this is because during Mass, priests are meant to resemble Jesus. And according to the Catholic Church, women can't resemble Jesus during Mass.
Oh, because they don't have beards.
Yeah, but like, I can't really picture any priest with a beard, but
Neither can I.
yeah, right? Is that a like dress code?
I don't know.
Either way.
Oh no, they're definitely like.
So
You're 400. You're telling me like a friar didn't have a beard.
that's fair. All right, so there was something published in 1994 by Pope John Paul II, and I say something because I don't know what to call it, but here's the Latin name for it, so let's go for this. Ordinatio Sacerdotales.
Oh, Ordinatio Sacerdotales.
Yeah. So I took an excerpt from this specifically.
Was it in Latin?
Well, the translation was in English.
Okay.
But I like saw that this was a thing in whatever, so I looked it up separately. So here's a quote from it. The Church has no authority whatsoever to confer priestly ordination on women, and that this judgment is to be held by all the faithful, unquote.
I like how they put it on, like, God. They're like,
Yeah.
yo, I'm not allowed to, like, I would if I could, but I'm not allowed to make a woman a priest.
Can't,
Yeah.
so. So it was, like, officially put into, like, I don't know what like, some kind of document written by a pope and published in 1994.
Okay.
So, like I said, it's very hard to find stories on young Pope Joan. It's medieval Europe. No one really like gave a shit about each other. So
The printing press wasn't invented either, you know.
yeah, exactly.
You had to get all your stuff from an illuminated manuscript.
So Pope Joan was a young woman who disguised herself as a man and entered into religious training. After distinguishing herself as a scholar, exactly, she rose. She rose through the Catholic Church ranks and was elected Pope John VIII in the year 855.
Or like Leela from that one episode of Futurama where they joined the army.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And,
That's
like,
a good
and then they
episode.
attack like the balls or whatever.
Yeah.
The most popular story of her young adult life and birth says that she was born in Mainz, Germany in the early 9th century.
Okay.
Little is known about her childhood or young adult life, but it is known that she traveled to Athens with her, quote, lover. Couldn't find a name on him, so I'll just refer to him as the unnamed lover. But they traveled to Athens.
Why Athens?
So it was a large learning center, like big in education, and her and her unnamed lover wanted like better education opportunities, but the whole thing was she couldn't get educated because in medieval Europe they hated women and women weren't allowed to be educated. It was only rich and powerful dudes.
Was she going there for like religious education or just like?
Yeah, well, education was religious education.
Okay, it's just weird to me that they were like, because
Athens.
Athens, you know, like Greece, like Greek pantheon, like you'd think they'd move it to somewhere that like, or maybe that's just like a sign of like the Catholic Church dominance that they're like, no, this like place where you used to worship Zeus, like it's Catholic now.
That would be the Orthodox Church, right? Because it would be under the Byzantine Empire in that time.
Oh,
So
I have no
different
idea.
church, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Because it's the Orthodox. I don't know. I don't know how any of this shit works. Fuck if I know.
You know, quick history tidbit on some mountain in Greece. Maybe it was Olympus. I don't
Probably
know.
Olympus.
But they had like a bunch of just statues of erect penises at like a temple of Zeus.
Yeah. There was like, yeah. Either way, let's get back to my story, Ryan.
Just
Rather
a
than
tidbit.
your weird erect penis story. So like I said, back then women weren't allowed to be educated, and there was only wealthy men. In Athens, her and her unnamed lover came up with a plan to disguise herself as a man and enter the Catholic Church for proper education. Now, I have no idea why she didn't just become a nun, because that was a thing, and nuns were educated because they like wrote shit down. So I don't know
Okay.
why she didn't go to the nunnery, but disguised herself as a male, entered the Catholic Church. So after years of education, Joan found her specialty: scriptures.
Okay.
Writing shit down, learning about like ancient scriptures. Who knows? It is reported that Joan then moved to Rome, where she continued to excel and impress those around her with her knowledge of the scriptures. The Vatican brought Joan on to become a secretary for the church's court shortly after, because she was just impressing everyone, and they were like, "Oh, damn, we want you."
Wow, you can remember all of Ecclesiastes?
Yeah, exactly. So then she started working for she was a secretary for the church's court. After continuing to impress people, she eventually became a cardinal. And cardinals offer advice to the Pope and help elect a new one, a la that opening scene in Angels and Demons with Ewan McGregor.
Oh yeah, where they burn the
Yeah.
burn the smoke, and
Yeah.
they're like, if the smoke is black, there's no new pope.
Yep, that. So that's what cardinals do. So she's now a cardinal. She's still dressed as a man. She was able to disguise herself as a man because like all that like the robes and shit that they wore.
The wizard robes
the
were
wizard
talking about
robes,
earlier.
like purple and red and shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was such loose clothing that no one would see she was a woman.
The titties.
Yeah. So Pope Leo V dies in 855 AD, and now Pope Joan, or we'll just call her Joan, is currently a cardinal. So she's on the board of elect to either elect a cardinal or elect a pope or be elected pope. Naturally, she fucking dazzled everyone with her scriptures, so they were like, "We want him." She also went by the name John Anglicus back then.
John Anglicus.
John Anglicus. John Joan. That's how good she was. Can't just be named like Stephen.
Pope Richard.
Yeah, exactly. So it is also believed that she would have nightly meetups within the Vatican walls with her unnamed lover.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Like
That's how it's expected or suspected that she became pregnant.
not only is she faking being a man, which like whatever.
She's also getting dick down in
Like,
the Vatican walls.
clearly she cares about the like
yeah.
Catholic
Yeah,
law
enough to move all the way up.
enough
Yeah.
to become a cardinal, but then she's also like fucking, which
Yep.
like is not like priests aren't allowed to do that.
They're not.
Why is Joan allowed to?
Yeah, exactly. So, like I said, there are two separate accounts as to what happened to Joan when she went into labor. Also, that's all I have on her like adult life leading up to becoming a pope. There's so little information on her. So we'll circle back to how I started. She fell off the horse.
Okay.
Got, started giving birth to a kid just in the middle of the Roman streets. So like I said, two popular accounts, but the most popular account states that she was beaten where she laid. She was then tied to a horse, paraded throughout the streets as onlookers stoned her. And then when she finally died from the stoning, they just pushed her to the side of the road, dug a hole, buried her there, and then there is reportedly a marker that said, quote, it's obviously in Latin, but I'm just going to tell you the English.
Okay.
Because I was trying to spell the Latin one, and even though I had a reference, I could have just, fuck it. O Peter, father of fathers, betray the childbearing of the woman pope. Unquote. I don't really know what it means.
So they were like, hold on.
Yeah.
This pope's a woman.
Yep.
And then just beat the shit out of her until she died.
Started beating her, tied her to a horse, drag her through the streets, and people were like throwing rocks at her and shit. And then when she was finally dead, they just like cut her off the horse, pushed her to the side, dug a hole, and then just buried her right then and there.
Maybe she should have, like, since she was pope, like, reversed the church's opinion on contraception. Maybe that could have saved her.
Still would have been a shock when she was a woman, though.
Yeah, but they wouldn't have found out because she wouldn't have gotten pregnant.
Did
they have contraception back then?
I don't know. Like
probably not in 850 AD or whatever it was.
Could have been like a goat intestine. If you wrap a sausage in it, wrap your fucking own. Anyways, so that's all I have on her literal life and death. Like I said, it is very hard to find any information on her. It's reported that the story of Pope Joan was passed down through word of mouth. Because everything that existed of Pope Joan was was destroyed by the Catholic Church. There was a bust in some city in Greece that they absolutely destroyed right after they found out she was pregnant. The only historical evidence that has been found is that there was a what is it called? There was a coin at the time being circulated around. One sec, I just have to.
A denarii?
Yeah, deniers, something like that.
Oh, dinars?
Yeah.
Dinar.
Either way, it's a coin minted between 1872 and 1882. Either way, there was initials of Pope Joan on one that was minted in 855.
Interesting.
And Pope John succeeded her, but the coin was minted before he succeeded, and so it was just the initials, like PJ or whatever, Pope John, whatever. And the last Pope John before her was 120 years earlier.
Oh.
So there's historical coins from that date that with initials of a pope, and it only matches her.
So the church is just no, we're getting ready for the new John.
Yeah.
Or something, yeah.
So it's believed that the church tried to cover her up, but it also could have just been kind of like you were just saying, it could have been some devil worshipping, cat worshipping cult that made this up to make fun of the Catholic Church and try to diminish them. That haha, you hate women, but you had a woman pope.
Yeah.
So no one really knows if it's a true story or not. There was as I said, a 2009 movie called Pope Joan. It starred Johanna Wakulik and John Goodman. It got 6.7 out of 10.
I love John Goodman, dude.
Love John Goodman. But that's really all I have. Actually, this is also what I absolutely love, and this is what kind of makes me believe she actually 100% existed. So there's a chair that the Pope has to sit on prior to being ordained by the cardinals.
They found bloodstains on it?
No. So this chair is basically just I hate you.
Sorry, that was
no,
so bad.
It gets better, though. You ready for this? This chair has an opening in the middle of it.
Oh.
And all the cardinals have to look up at the priest to make sure his manhood is there.
Wait. So the Catholic Church, historic haters of gays, make the Pope dangle his dick and balls through a chair.
That is correct.
To see if he's a man.
Yeah, but the problem is no one knows if this chair existed before or after Joan, but my theory is if it existed before her, they easily would have been holy fuck, what the fuck? They would have been ah!
The next post is fool me once, whip that bad girl out.
But the first reference of this chair comes from 1099 AD.
Interesting.
So there are no references prior to that, but it could have been a response by the Catholic Church, or it could have just been a really fancy crapping chair.
Who's the current Pope?
Yeah.
Is it Pope John Paul?
No, it's, I don't know, some guy from Argentina, right?
I don't know.
And he's like slightly progressive, and everyone's like freaking out.
So that dude had to sit down on a chair
Yeah.
and waggle his cock and balls
Yep.
in front of like a room of like
Gotta
90 other old
Gotta
men.
make sure it's not Pope Joan the Second.
Does that mean Ewan McGregor had to look at the Pope's dick and balls
You understand that's
in
a movie?
Angels and
You
Demons?
understand that's a movie, right?
Well, yeah, but it's fun to think about.
Yeah, but he also killed the other Pope. So
Yeah, he also flew a helicopter.
yeah, that detonated like a nuke in the air, and then he like got smacked into a roof and was fine.
All right. Moral of the story: Angels and Demons is a
Yeah.
fucking great movie.
Yeah. But either way, Pope Joan. So it's up to you to determine what you believe.
I believe it's true.
Yeah, I kind of think like the Catholic Church is like notorious for trying to hide stuff.
Yeah.
So like, who knows?
I mean, anytime like a dude touches a young boy and then somebody finds out, they just like ship him to like Africa or something.
Yeah, send him somewhere else that no one else gives a fuck
Yeah.
about.
And then they come back in like 10 years and like keep doing it.
Yeah, exactly. So who knows? They could have been a woman pope. But I guess that's everything we have for this week on the awfulness of the Catholic Church.
Yeah,
Whoops.
that's our show this week. We hope you enjoyed. Leave us a rating wherever you listen so that more people will find us. Tell a friend. That's a big one.
Olive Garden.
Go
Don't
out.
forget Olive Garden.
Go out, tell your friend about this podcast. Ask him to listen. Sorry, our roommate is making weird noises.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Insta, Twitter. You've
Hit
heard
us
it
up
before.
on. So we're doing a new segment. If you listen to all the way to the end, I love you. You're a great person. I won't threaten to
That's the
shit in your
segment. That's
childhood
it.
home this episode. Yeah. So we're doing this new segment. It's gonna be called, I don't know, tidbits with Ryan or something. Hit us up on Instagram. DM us if you have any cool, interesting history tidbits. I'll shout them out on the podcast. You'll get a shout out. So yeah, you definitely want to follow us on Instagram.
Do you want to give the handle?
Oh yeah, it's what happened _pod.
There you go. And official WHPC on Twitter.
Yeah.
But that's it for this week. We'll catch you next Wednesday, I guess.
What happened?